Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How are we doing today? Welcome to another episode of the weirdest Epic 7 I've ever made in my life. This is the world's greatest shitpost, and this is posted by Gilga on Reddit. I'll leave the link in the description down there below, and I just want to read this with you in all its glory. Do note, this is obviously a response in terms of both people complaining and then other people getting mad at them for complaining about the situation that's currently happening with Epic 7. Do note, as we go into this, they are obviously aware people are pissed off and they're making steps to make this better. A lot of people saying not removing the requirements, the imprints is not enough, and I agree with that, but also it hasn't been very long and it does take time to change stuff like that in the game, so we'll see how they handle that and go from there. Next event will be very telling if they ever decide to do anything like this again. More so than how they handle this one, if that makes sense, because there's only so much they can do from their side in terms of changing the UI, getting it approved in the App Store, all stuff like that. They're obviously aware of it, so keep that in mind. No need to Omega hate on them and rage quit and review. No need to do all that. But if this keeps up, then maybe we need to rage a little bit more. Anyways, let's take a look at this. So this says 25th, 4th, 2027. I don't know how to read dates. 5 a.m. Rise and grind. I wake up to the sound of my alarm clock. Time to play Epic 7, the greatest gacha of all time. First thing on the menu, Guild vs. Guild. I finally have my missing imprint on MLU Fiend, so I can finally get to play this mode properly, since you need her to fight a fort or a stronghold. Not because she's meta, but because this mode isn't available if she's not A-imprint for lore reasons. She needs to be strong enough to fly you to the towers according to the Smilegate execs. People didn't like that when they were implemented it, but those guys were just crybabies complaining for nothing. Just get the character or play another mode. You don't need the Mystics to enjoy the game. They even got 300,000 gold and a 3-star ticket as compensation. There's a classic defense on the enemy fort, ML squared Belian, which I pulled with super duper Mystic medals last week. Earth Tenebria and ML Sol Bad Guy. This guy also has the Wyvern 13 as a 4th character, since he paid for the epic GVG starter pack. It was released during the Go Fuck Yourself winter event in December. I miserably lose after the Wyvern dual attacks 6 times and 5 attacks, but that's on me. Classic GVG, am I right? It's just a small advantage for him, and it's normal that you get that if you pay enough. Then, I do a few hunts on Banshee 55, which I can now clear 2 out of 30 runs. A decent success rate for the free-to-play that I am. I'll catch up to the whales eventually once they run the ML Baiken banner again, so I can grab the Triple S imprint that makes the boss pass their turn instead of one-shotting your team. I get into the RTA tab to play a few games and relax. The draft begins. They pick Summer Child Zio, a light unit with a self-speed imprint. As this man has a legend frame, I expect his to be imprinted to Triple Z, a rating they added for people who pulled at least 20 copies of a character with paid Skystones, for a total of 152 extra speed. But no matter, I can power through with skill and a smart draft. I try to pick a turn 2 comp, and ban his last pick. The match begins with the Zlight Zio taking the turn as expected. I managed to survive the initial onslaught by a hair, and it's now my turn to strike back. As I press skill 3 on my BBK and watch his entire team get chunked down to 1 HP, I know victory is close. Suddenly, the screen flashes. The opponent's ML amids passive got triggered by him being about to lose. If he buys a Nadalon Legacy pack, that gives you a chance to pull a pre-nerf WoW with 5 torrent sets added to her stats. For the small price of $55 per pull, he rolls a d20. He obliges. The dice animation plays on the screen. He gets a max roll. My face turns white. You lost. Critical success for the opponent. Your account will therefore be suspended indefinitely. Please purchase the Forgive and Forget pack on the Smilegate shop to continue playing. I chose to play on the Chinese server after all. These things tend to happen. All I have to do is restart an account, and maybe this time I'll get a silver frame. Tears flow to my eyes as I force myself to uphold a smile. God bless Epic 7. It's the best gacha game ever. This is my new favorite shitpost. I absolutely love this. I think this is hilarious. It also hammers down on stuff that I talk about a lot, where I say Epic 7 has a very pay to win aspect to it, but they're very, very, very good at hiding it. For example, something like where is it here? Where is it here? It's just a small advantage for him, and it's normal that you get it if you pay enough. And that's kind of the thing. There's small advantages everywhere in Epic 7. Whether it's reforge packs or whatever to get better speed on your gear, whether it's imprints, whether it's conversion stone buying, if you can buy those. I don't even know what you can buy anymore because I stay away from that. There's so much small intervals of pay to win in this game that you feel like you can contest in PvP as a free-to-play player, but you really can't for the most part. Versus somebody spending as much time as you within the game. They're just going to have better stuff. That's just the rationale behind gacha games, and that's how they work. The other thing too is the difference between imprints is insane, and that's kind of what they're getting at in this post. While it is a shit post, it does have a lot of merit in terms of what could happen in the future if we let things like the Triple S event slide, right? The other thing too is the Zeo with an extra 20 copies for 152 speed. And that might seem like an exaggeration, and it obviously is, but how many times have you lost Guild War by 5%, 10%? Yeah, that's the difference of a whale getting triple S and maybe plus 15 in their team versus you not. So something to consider as we go forward with gacha games. A lot of people are very, how do I say this? They're very in denial about what counts as pay to win or not. And it's kind of frustrating to me because all you're doing by saying something isn't pay to win when it actually is aiding the companies in ripping us off more, you know? Like, obviously we know what we're getting into in mobile games and gacha games, but there's a point where it may or may not be too much. And I really think imprints and mainly imprints, honestly, are a massive power boost when it comes to PvP. Because if you consider a 3v3 team, imagine your team has maybe an A rank and 2 5-stars with no imprints, and their team has triple S, all 3 people. That means they're potentially getting like 34, like 50% crit on their stats. Just as an example, like 50% crit over you on their gear that you have to get on your gear that they don't, and they can then put into speed, into attack, into HP, into defense that you don't have. And every battle's like that. And in 4v4, it's even more so. And then the people will chime in, and these are the people that really get me, that will say, that's not pay to win. You can get slates and imprint your own. Which is really frustrating to me, because while that may be true for a very small amount of your units, it's not like that for everybody. And whenever there's a balance patch and somebody gets nerfed, the pay to win people just take the nerf in stride, or not, depending. And then pay to win a new character up to triple S to replace them, whereas somebody that is free to play is then screwed. Anyways, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this because, one, I found this hilarious, and two, if you're one of the people that deny everything counting as free to play, or deny everything counting as pay to win, and say Epic 7 is free to play and there's no pay to win aspects in it, which a lot of people have told me, it's wild to me. So just consider that and really look at what you're facing and why you're facing and why you might lose a battle, and think about that when you consider how much money that other person has spent and why they beat you over you beating them. I'm not saying free-to-play players can't beat whales, but very often whales should have a decent amount of power over you as a free-to-play player. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.